items that you definitely, if you have the money and you can spare a few dollars, please buy them organic, because those are the things that we cannot wash it out, the pesticides and all the chemicals that spray them so the crop doesn't die. For example, leafy greens. You have to eat the leafy greens as they are. You just wash them, but you cannot take the pesticides away from the leafy greens because it absorbs them. Strawberries, anything that you cannot peel, tomatoes, strawberries, raspberries. Are you getting the idea?
Yeah. Anything you can't peel.
That you can't peel, try and have them organic, or at least non-GMO, okay? Which is that it's not genetically modified. It's not genetically modified. Now, Clean 15 is the list of items and fruits and veggies that you can buy them non-organic, and it's not such a big deal. For example, a banana, things that you can peel, because the skin is going to receive most of the pesticides, and then you peel them, and it's not so easy, it can penetrate to the fruit, right? So bananas and lemons, things that you can peel and have a thick skin, you don't have to buy them organic. And now you're saving a huge amount of money. Also, when you go to the supermarket, buy from don't buy these crazy expensive brands. Buy from the, how do you call that, al granel, you know, that you are saving money because you're not paying for expensive branding, and you can, you can just
like the store brand, or like anything that's, it doesn't have to be a specific, like, chapstick is a brand, but everybody calls their chapstick, right? Then you can get lip balm, is what you're saying. Correct. So I think that's really important. So I don't want to keep going, because I want people to come to your tour. Like, I want people to get up out of their seats on June 8th and come out. So in regards to mental health, I know that you were mentioning that as well. That was the second prong. This is kind of a two-pronged question. So mental health, as we know, is vital. It's important. We know that it's very stigmatized in the Latinx communities. So, in regards to that, I want you to just one sentence in regards to mental health, but what can the people expect at this June 8th event? Like, what I want you to paint, like, a beautiful painting or picture of what the attendees are going to expect when they walk in that door and see your beautiful smile. So what are they expecting?
Well, the event, as I said, is a wellness fiesta, but more down to earth. There's going to be 4 panels. Each panels are going to have speakers that are professionals in the area, or women that have gone through the same challenges that we're going to be discussing and were successful, and they're going to give us the tools, and the audience, they're going to give us the tools they used and things that worked for them, but we're also going to have professionals in the area. So the first panel is obviously nutrition and wellness and fitness for Latinas and women of color. So there's going to be me, of course, and there's going to be several of my peers in the fitness and wellness industry that have worked with Latinas and women of color specifically. So we're going to talk about decolonizing our diet, reclaiming our food, because most of these superfoods are coming from our soil. And all of a sudden they became famous because in America they decided that they were going to be famous, but in reality, quinoa, chia seeds, acai, all of them are from our soil. Tell the Incas and the Aztecas that they've been using that for
now
ages.
All of a sudden, coconut.
Yeah,
the coconut juice is a thing.
Don't even get me started on the whole coconut thing, because my father used to make me drink coconut water in high school during and before and after games, and I was buying it for what, like 84 cents? They couldn't even get it off the shelf fast enough. Now I gotta spend like $6 for coconut
water. Now that's like a thing.
And I'm like, what are you doing? I was doing this for over 20 years, and now I can't even afford it.
We've been doing the most for the longest. But yeah, going back to your question. So we're teaching our audience how to decolonize our diet, how to reclaim the products from our soil, and how to cook healthy with them, staying in culture. Because sometimes you want to eat healthy, but you like your sazon. So what do? What things you can cook? And how can you stay healthy? How can you move your body? And coming from the challenges that we face every day as women of color, maybe with not the resources. I don't have $200 to pay for an expensive gym. So what can I do? And that's the nutrition and fitness panel, but also the mental health, where we're going to discuss not only mental health per se, but also body positivity. In the Hispanic community, in the African American community, we see so much where we get women shamed because if they don't have certain figure, or if they weigh certain pounds. So body positivity, mental health, and how can you overcome them? We're going to give people tools We're going to give women tools to overcome those hurdles. And if you're coming from a Hispanic family, how you can also bring them on their journey and heal with you. We're also going to have a panel for survivors of domestic violence and sexual abuse, which is so important because unfortunately in our community we shame the victim. If your husband is hitting you, so what do you do to provoke him? If you were sexually assaulted, what were you wearing that day? And we need to change that narrative, and not only change it, but also give tools to the women who have suffered to heal, and to heal in a way that they don't bring that baggage with them their whole life, and it doesn't, prevent them from moving forward in a beautiful way. And the fourth panel, which I'm very excited, is what I call the Brujas and Blessed, which in reality is just a cheeky name, but just speaking about reclaiming our spirituality.
I love this.
Yeah, and
so is Nathalie going to be on that?
Nathalie's going to be there. She's like,
she's
I
love her.
Brujas,
Yeah.
Woo,
I think we met all that same Hispanic Size conference. Yeah, they've been on the show. Her and Cindy are fantastic.
So in that panel, what you can expect is I'm going to bring my favorite brujas, which are going to demystify the bruja name. You think about bruja, you think about a negative something, and it's not like that. It's so beautiful. As I said, Latinas are the biggest curanderas ever. Since the beginning, they were healers, and all of a sudden, society told us that it's not positive. But now you see Urban Outfitters selling Palo Santo and Sage, and it's now trendy again, when we've been doing this for ages.
Candy, let me ask you this question, because thinking about it from my perspective, I would imagine that one of the challenges that Latinas and other women of color and other women that are part of your network go through is, even if they're bought into this concept, even if they believe everything you just said, and you just touched on a little bit earlier in your comment, is that ultimately you've got to kind of bring your family along too, because if you're going to, it's going to change the menu at dinner time, it's going to change the lifestyle, not just ultimately for the whole family. So how about what's advice that you provide in the kind of event at the wellness conference, is that for say, look, I'm all bought into it, I'm changing what we're at the compra list, I'm changing the menu, and I'm getting pushback from the rest of the family?
I always say that if you educate one woman, you educate a family, because we are the change makers in the household. Unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry, Ray, guys, I'm not as powerful.
You don't have to be sorry. What I told you was that between my mother and my wife, I've had a Latina boss my whole life, and look how well I've done.
Look at me,
Look how well I've done. Look, I'm dressed, I'm on the radio, big time, hanging out with these celebrities.
It's good that you accept that.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
But
we know we have our place.
But in reality, women, we are so used to take care of others, and we're nurturers, and that's why sometimes we are the ones dying, because we take care of everybody and we leave ourselves last.
That's right.
But when a woman
That's
learns to be healthy, her whole family learns.
Absolutely.
And kids will do what their mom teaches them to do. And if in that pantry there's nothing unhealthy, the kid won't eat it. But guess who did the grocery? Mom did it.
And you know what happens there, because I've gone through this in my life too to some degree, is that when you start eating better, you feel better, and that builds the buy-in.
Absolutely.
From the rest of the family. Oh, we have more energy, we have more, you're just in a better mood, your skin looks better.
You're glowing.
Yeah, so then that,
Yes.
that
and the body
accelerates.
is, and our body is so smart. As soon as you start eating properly and getting away from processed food, from sugar, from alcohol. And hey, I'm not saying don't drink alcohol. If you want, I'm the first. I enjoy my wine. I love to drink a glass of wine with my husband, but it's the abuse of alcohol, right? And you can also drink your coffee, tu cafecito. I mean, hello. It's the abuse when you start drinking 6-7 cups per day, and when you don't drink it, you're trembling. Coffee is a drug.
And it's actually the sugar you put in the coffee more so than the coffee.
Yeah, but coffee is also a drug, so we need to be mindful. So I say always those small steps, and our bodies are perfect. We are the ones who get in the middle with the lifestyle, and as soon as you start getting your health back in shape, the body will get rid of everything that that is in the way of its own way of healing. So that is a beautiful thing.
That's super, super powerful. For those of you who are tuning in, that was Candy Calderon when we were talking about the Glow Wellness Tour. Mark your calendars, Philadelphia, for June 10th, and we'll speak some more with Candy Calderon and some topics back from the break. Really powerful, I love it.
Samantha, can you do me a favor? Can you see if there's anybody that on Facebook Live? Say hi to them because you're close to them. And then just see, turn around, say hi, see if there's any questions on there or anything notable.
Never too late to start. Someone said they were excited for your tour.
All right, give me a couple names. I can shout them out.
All right. Vincent Oram, Diane Harcum, Madeline Neris.
Madeline's up there. Okay,
Yep.
oh, that's my
Delilah
girl.
D.
Yep.
Delilah D. Hold on, Vincent. What was it? Diane Harcum. Oh, that's my priest, Vincent Oram, un africano. Tremenda persona. Woo.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. And then if there's a question on there, you can slip me a note. Okay.
You ready?
All right.
You're listening to WPPMLP 106.5 FM in Philadelphia. You are listening to What's Next radio show and Ray's Latino Talk podcast. Yes, yes, yes. For those of you who are just tuning in and or viewing us on social media, you are here with Ray, Rockstar Ray over here, the hostess of the Moses, the hostess of the Moses, and our fabulous, powerful Latina guest today is Candy Calderon. Let me tell you something. She is dropping knowledge on us today. Right?
That's a Dominican woman, like, woo! You think, un saludo, my Dominican titi, I like to call her, Gabriela Polanco, who I know she's watching out in Reading, PA. And she gives consejos to all my Dominican compadres. One of them ended up moving to Dubai with her advice, and the other one got married. No, so you guys are a big part of our community, and Candy is really, not only, we say it all, spitting knowledge is very informative, but you're really inspiring us to really think about how do we stay long on this Lord for our families? How do we live? This is about our lifestyle, about being there for our families for a long time, and I'm really enjoying this conversation.
No, it's super incredible, and I want to keep it going. So again, for those of you tuning in, this is Yaya Rivera. And, for this is our fun segment. This is the segment that currently has Ray, looking for 20s.
Hold on.
Where's his 20s? Where's his $20 bills at? So right now we are going to be stacking 20s, talking about, the other 300 candidates that are saying they're running for presidency.
Only 22.
Only 22. So for those of you, if it's your first time learning about this, we're stacking 20s for an amazing cause. It's for a organization that's called Love Shouldn't Hurt. And this is specifically important today because they have an upcoming event this Sunday, April 28th at 3 p.m. at Aspira Education Campus, located at 6301 North 2nd Street. It's going to be a lot of conversation around domestic violence, bringing awareness to domestic violence. There's going to be a showing, a screening of a film. It's going to be very intimate. Christina Vega, I spoke to her today. I'm really excited not only to help promote this event, but to be in the building. I will be there this Sunday at 3 p.m.
That is exciting. No, and in fact, she's actually, I wanted to shout her out, besides the event, but she's actually going to be on a panel that Senator Bob Casey's office called.
Yeah, isn't that huge?
She's going to be on there tomorrow morning. So Christina, and this shows that when we all work together and support each other, we lift each other's events and projects. So we're really proud to be supportive of the Love Shouldn't Hurt campaign.
That's super huge. Domestic violence is something that impacts, millions of women nationally and internationally. It's, as Candy mentioned earlier in the segment, the machismo is real, and we need to figure out a way to stop stigmatizing and, treating survivors like garbage and start listening and start creating change. So, and on that note, Ray, stacking 20s. So who do we got here? I heard a couple people that are running for presidency. And how about that Joe Biden?
Uncle Joe.
How are we feeling about that?
We have waited a long time to stack this 20, Theo Joe. Theo Joe, I think, is trying to reach out to the Latino vote, Candy and Yaya, by showing up the last one to the party. So Joe Biden, former Delaware senator, basically grew up as a senator for us locally here in Philly, very close. And, of course, Obama's vice president for 8 years, has finally jumped into the race. His video was interesting. He didn't announce at a big rally. He's going to have that later. He's going to have one in Philly soon. But he announced with sort of a video talking about why we need to get rid of Trump. But he didn't really talk about why he's running. And I think that's kind of a prelude to, I think, some of the challenges he's going to have. I think there's a couple things. The bottom line is that, his argument, and what I think this is what's sticking a lot of, especially younger people and people of color's concern, is that Biden very much had the strategy and the message to the minority communities that the Clintons have had for the last 30 years, which is basically, we're the best you're going to get. Look, we're white people, we're cool with y'all, but we're going to make enough white people comfortable with us so that we'll get elected, but we'll take care of y'all. And that's kind of the underlying argument that Biden has now, right? Like, well, I'm not the youngest, I'm not the most progressive. You may have issues with me from the Anita Hill stuff and the crime bill in the 70s, and you may think a lot of things about me, but guess what? I can beat this guy. Not that I'm the best, but I'm the one that can win. And so the question that I have for our community is, A, is that acceptable to us? I think for some of us it is, to be honest.
Exhausting.
But many of us, particularly the younger crowd, which is the bulk of our community, it's not. And B, is what is he going to offer our community here in the next year of campaigning?
See, the one thing that I didn't understand, Ray, about his video, it's like, as an Afro-Latina woman and self-identifying and really being proud about my African roots and growing up in South Central Pennsylvania, I comprehend racism more than the average bear. So seeing his video, I feel like he needs to do more than just saying, I'm going to stop racism, yay! Like, for those of us
interesting, that's how he started, right?
Like, those of us who are people of color, we get it. Like, before this president, it existed. It's going to exist, unfortunately, after this president. So, Uncle Joe, what you doing? What do you think he's going to end up doing? How do you think he's going to run his campaign?
This is going to be very interesting because Joe, and again, this comes out of love. And, Joe, to his credit, has hired some very important strategic staffers of color. Simone Sanders, who was one of the principal spokespeople, and essentially the diversity lead in Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2016 is now going to be on his campaign. My homie, Cristobal Alex, who you need to connect with, Candy's very influential Latino leader around the country, formerly, or has now taken a sabbatical from running the Latino Victory Fund, is a very, very senior member, probably in the top 4 or 5 of the Biden campaign. So he's got some very good people there. But the question is, his campaigns are often run like him. It's a reflection of him. So when Obama ran, it was very tip-top, very neat, very clean, no drama Obama. Biden's, he just wakes up and he talks and he touches too much and he's a good guy and you forgive him and it's a little sloppy. So he needs to tighten it up. And I guess the bottom line is he going to have the discipline? Because this is what's going to happen. When these debates start, you're going to have women of color, you're going to have young people, you're going to have a lot of different voices attacking him as the front runner, many of which are his grandkids' age. I mean, you're talking about this man's pushing 80. And so is he going to have the discipline not to look like the grumpy old man on stage? Because I don't think people are so much about his age, but if he comes off old school, I think that's going to turn a lot of people off.
No, that's going to for sure, I personally think, going to turn a lot of people off, because one of the huge topics this year and for upcoming years in regards to politics is the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, about health care, about people actually being able to afford health. I mean, who would have thought? So now that we have Candy on
Absolutely.
the show, Candy, you know that the ACA is on the process of being gutted. You see that it's becoming more and more challenging for people to get the necessary prescriptions they need. Getting a lot of the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States are medical bills. So how do you see this, being ironed out with these politicians and Joe Biden, and how do you feel it's going to be important for them to spread their message, especially for the Latinx community and people of color, to be like, we need to vote for that guy?
That's right. What do you want to hear in the health discussions?
I would absolutely, there's need to be a change in whatever is happening right now, but from my perspective and from being me, Candy Calderon, I would be more impressed if you integrate what are we going to heal this epidemic. Why are we so sick? America is a sick nation, okay? And why are kids with 3-4 years diabetes? Why we have so much obesity? So how do we clean the sickness that is that there's in United States, that it's because of our lifestyle, because of the food that we eat? What are the movements? What are the initiatives that you're going to put in place to heal? I know it's not going to happen over time because we didn't get here just from one day to another. But what are the initiatives you're going to do and implement to start healing whatever is going on right now? Because this is not sustainable, guys. We're dying.
Candy, you've hit on such a good point, because oftentimes when we talk about the healthcare debate, we really are having a debate about the health insurance market.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how to cover people, who's eligible, the copay thing, the bureaucracy. And really what you're talking about is we need to have a national conversation about health care.
Yeah, because what we have right now is a sick care when you're really sick, okay? And that's business, Okay, so what about we creating these programs where we start teaching people prevention? And when you have an active illness, of course, there's need to be protection for those undeserved and people who don't have the protection from the government. But I will be more impressed when you tell me the things that you want to do and what are you going to do for us, for our community, to start healing the thing that got us here.
So, Candy, what would you like to see if there was, if the next president came to you and said, "Look, what's one initiative that I can do from your background, from your teaching, that particularly could help the Latino and minority communities when it comes to health, that's culturally, what would be an initiative you would like to see?"
I will definitely want to see more transparency in the ingredients in the products. I would like to see more funding for farmers, for our farmers who are working the soil every day, and giving them more resources so we can have more fresh products, non-genetically modified. And I would like to see more initiatives in school about the mental health, about healing from the inside out. Instead of doing sick care, we're doing prevention care. I would like to see more initiatives towards that instead of what's going on right now.
Now, there's two other initiatives as part of the healthcare discussion that I want to make sure, because what you're going to see on television, so that's why we have this show, because what you see on cable television is a very thin conversation. It's going to be Medicare for all versus enhancing Obamacare versus whatever Trump doesn't really have a plan, or Republicans don't really have a plan.
Yeah.
But my point is that it's going to be a very sort of intellectual conversation that really isn't going to make a lot of sense, because the bottom line is that there's very specific, and a couple points I want to touch on this. One is that in whatever improvements and we do to healthcare, it's very important that we provide funding so that Latinos receive culturally competent care. So we have more bilingual teachers, doctors, more bilingual nurses, supporting more Latinas in the wellness space in general, supporting fitness centers, rehab facilities that are culturally competent. We're dealing with an issue here in Philadelphia where a healthcare company is taking away from one of the only Latino wellness facilities in Philadelphia that takes care of people in the rehab, that has bilingual staffers, they're not funding them. So there's a lot of issues like that are very important.
And the one thing I want to add to that, Ray, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful point, is that in education in general, there really is lack of resources for people in the black and brown communities to even be encouraged to become a doctor.
That's right.
And it's like, I see
It's
more
awfully
doctors
expensive. That gets into the higher
that goes into higher
student loan
education.
debt. That's right.
It goes into being, telling students at a young age that they have the knowledge, that they have the power, and they have the opportunity, and giving students more resources for that. So I think that's beautiful that you brought that up, because not one of my doctors, and I'm ashamed to say that I have 7, is Latino or Latina. Not one. And only one of them is a person of color. So do the math here. Almost everybody that's taking care of me don't even understand what I go through culturally.
Exactly.
Nevertheless, even going to see a visit. So tell me what you think, Candy.
Yeah, culturally competent is something that has to be the deciding factor when I am choosing a provider, right? Somebody who understands where I'm coming from, my challenges. And it's not the same when you're sitting across the desk and you're a white doctor. Sometimes you don't understand the realities that we face as Latinos, Hispanic, and women of color, or also men of color. And sometimes they don't even speak Spanish. And I'm not saying that you have to, but at least if you're serving this community, you have to at least try.
No, for sure, yes. And that was Candy Calderon, and you are listening to Ray's Latino Talk. And when we come back, we're going to break down the best supermarkets to get healthy up here in the city of brotherly love and nationally. So,
Compra Corner. Before we get to the Compra Corner, I have to sneak in one other news thing to see. Okay. So we go for the final segment. Okay.
which one?
Why don't you start it? Just welcome back. Ask Candy to promote your stuff, the show, your social media and all that, and then I'll get into my political thing. Then we'll do the Compra Corner stuff. And so we have 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. Okay. So we got to make sure we shout it out a few times.
Got it. You ready? You're listening to the What's Next radio show on WPPMLP 106.5 FM in Philadelphia and Ray's Latino Talk podcast. Listen to 106.5 FM in Philly at phillycam.org/listen or on the TuneIn app What's going on, Ray? Talk to me.
I mean, I feel like I want to run a half marathon because Candy Calderon is bringing the heat.
Let's do it
She's
together.
inspiring a lot of energy.
Let's do it together.
Well, you know, after a mile and a half, we'll see. But I'm really appreciative of Candy Calderon. And, you know, we do want to shout out to some people in the background here. One of Candy's associates, May, is in the building helping us social media. And May, if you could just calm down a little bit, you're real rowdy back there. And you know, Yashira, we have. She's calling herself an intern, but you know we are recruiting a potential associate producer for the show.
That's
Samantha
right.
Gonzalez is in the background doing the social media.
On? She's saying hello.
So yeah, so
she's
she's a little quiet, a little shy, but we are recruiting her. So yeah, what's your message to Samantha as she debates whether or not to become our associate producer on the show?
Aren't you not having an amazing time right now?
Amazing.
She's saying she's having an amazing time, so why not to continue the journey? You know, Samantha, thank you so much for taking time to be a part of Ray's Latino Talk today and for hanging out for Ray and I and also Candy and May. So, you know, we thank you tremendously for hanging out with us today.
That's right. And the bribe, the potential bribe to stay here. Candy, remind us, we're here with Candy got on the wellness and health guru in our lives here. Remind us where we can find you on social media and tell us more about the Glow Wellness Tour in Philadelphia, where they can purchase tickets. It's coming up in June.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on my website. Candy Calderon is my name, candycalderon.com. And you will pretty much find me everywhere, Candy Calderon. But I am super active, you guys know, on Instagram. I like to always engage with my audience if they have any questions and giving them tips in English and Espanol también. So I try to, when it comes to health and wellness tips, always give them in both languages so I don't leave anyone out anywhere, wherever they are.
Candy's so happy on her IG, isn't she? I mean,
honestly, and not to mention, like, before
the smoothies,
the photographs, the energy, like you can literally feel her energy through the photographs on Instagram. And I mean, for those of you that are listening and tuning in, I'm sure you can feel her energy on air too. I mean, it's
she's
contagious.
a must follow. There's no question about it.
It's contagious. So be sure you follow Candy at Candy Calderon __
for Instagram, and for my Glow Wellness Tour is this June 8th. And I want all the women who are listening to this
and watching,
Latinas,
right,
women of color of any background, come join us this June 8th and join us for this wellness fiesta. I promise you, we're gonna heal, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna heal.
And where would they purchase the tickets? On your website
they have
directly?
to go to glowwellnesstour.com.
Okay, glowwellnesstour.com.
glowwellnesstour.com, and we are still on early bird, so take advantage of those prices, and I promise you, you're not gonna forget this event.
And let me tell you something. This is like when you get touched by the race talk show community, metaphorically. I'm not talking about, but when you come on this show,
I know, be easy.
Yo, my guests on a roll. Our guests on a roll. And Lily Mejia comes on the show. Bernie Sanders, political director. Delilah D is like a megastar now.
Shout out to my friend Delilah.
And now she's on Elvis Duran show. I mean, she's blown up. So Christina Vega's project, next level. So Candy, I think we're gonna get this sold out. Let's get it sold out. Let's support. And most importantly, not only support this entrepreneur and this young Latina doing things to help our community, but also let's take care of ourselves, especially the women in our lives. Y'all deserve this. Treat yourself. You know, your husbands can go do something at the love of your life for a couple hours without you, and let them fend for themselves and see what it's like. But it's very important. Before we get to the final segment with Candy Calderon, again, really appreciate you being here with us, Candy. Wanted to shout out, this show is has become so impactful that we now have people reporting at events for us. And so I wanted to shout out a great friend to the show. She's going to be coming on very soon, and really a childhood friend, Ibeliz Martinez. Ibeliz was in D.C. covering the rally that was happening outside the Supreme Court earlier this week. The Supreme Court heard the case. People didn't see it for the Trump administration's attempt to add the citizenship question to the census next year, which is basically an attempt to discourage minorities and especially immigrant Latinos from participating in the census next year. That has huge political implications. If we don't get involved in the census, we're going to talk about the census a lot on the show. And so I asked her, she took pictures and sent us videos that we'll put on social media. And I asked her, I said, what was the feeling, what was the biggest takeaway you got from this experience? And she said, it really brought to life for her, first of all, the need for us to unite as a people, but also how much this issue impacts non-Latino immigrants. So we had Asian Americans there. We had our Muslim brothers and sisters from the Middle East, Northern Africa, from Central Asia there. We have people from all over the world that are part of this country, and how it's not a Latino issue or a Mexican issue. These kind of issues impact so many of our people, so Eastern European immigrants, whomever. And so that's what the spirit of the unity that she feels we need to practice more. So I think, Candy, this is right in line with your event. Candy, so you put an Instagram post up the other day about rating some of your favorite supermarkets. So can you share with us how you sort of how you think about this, and so what to you makes a good supermarket as we're thinking about where we purchase our products and services?
Absolutely. Can I say supermarket name?
Yeah, that's
Yeah?
fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
But a disclaimer, this is not a sponsorship or
Yeah.
anything.
No, it's not
This is
sponsored.
just-
Can you just break it down where you can find the
It's
healthy
just-
stuff?
yeah,
That's
it's
all.
just
It's all good.
It's just giving people options, which is one of the things that I love about what I do is give people options. Don't marry with one, okay? So, for example, I love Walmart because it has so many affordable things that we can purchase. But sometimes maybe if you want like fresh meat, maybe you'll go to a different supermarket because maybe and I'm not saying that the meat in Walmart is not fresh, guys. I don't know because I don't eat meat, but I'm just saying an example.
We know the difference, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the reality of it.
Exactly. So, but absolutely, if we're trying to keep it on a budget, I would say always, go to Aldi's, go to Walmart,
That's
go
my mom's
to,
stuff,
yeah.
Aldi's.
So, and
Good stuff.
mix and match depending on how you eat at home. You decide, okay, so I can buy this in this place and I can buy this in this place, and you will save a lot of money.
That's what we do because in my household, we go like with the generic things, we go to a big supermarket, but then we go to a vegetable stand or one of those for the fruits and vegetables because it's less expensive but also it's fresh.
Yeah, and I was exactly where I was going, especially now that we're entering spring and summer. Take advantage of the farmers market. We have so many here in Philly and Pennsylvania completely. Like every town will have their local farmers market, and what you're doing with that is also you're supporting your local farmers and your local vendors. And the fruit and the vegetables are, fresh, and you're eating straight from their soil. And most likely they'll be organic because they're doing their own harvesting, okay? And you're supporting your community.
And if you go online, if you do some research, you can even find websites and ways you can get produce shipped to you from the Caribbean, from Puerto Rico, from the
No,
Dominican Republic.
it's super.
But you have to do your
yeah.
research. So give us some other tips, because I know people that are watching say, but Candy, you're my cousin because I can get my Goya tomato paste for $20 for $1, and I'm on a limited budget. So what's your message to people that are really struggling with that piece to try to balance healthy purchasing with the budget?
Absolutely. I would say also cook in batch. And let's say on Sundays, right? Separate a few hours and make your own sazon, because that's the thing. Also, we're trying to eat with our own sazon, and we're buying this sazon is full of chemicals, and that's what we give in our bodies, and we're doing the most. And we're not only cooking with sazones full of chemicals, but we're also not being super healthy and things that we put in our bodies. So we are a ticking bomb, right? So when it comes to cooking, batch cook on Sundays and cook for a few days, prepare your own sazon, and then you'll save a lot of money. Go to the farmer's market when it comes to buying leafy greens, produce, vegetables, fruits.
And support your local vendor. Shout out to
support
my
local
sofrito
vendors.
hookup,
Yes.
Ana Montañez. I just bought 4 batches from her. Hey, support your business,
Hey,
women.
and
Support your business.
And I am, for sure, I know it's tasty,
Oh,
but
seguro
you
que
can
sí.
do a sofrito at home.
That's right.
So there's so many things that you can do. Will save money, will save time, because you don't have to be cooking every day. I hate to cook every day. I don't know about you, Yada.
Oh,
Do you
well,
like to cook every day?
Well, shout out to my fiance who does all the cooking and compra shopping in my house. But I mean, like that wraps up today's show.
Yes,
Thank you
Candy,
so
shout
much,
out quickly
Candy.
where they can find you on social media. Very
social
quickly.
media.
CandyCalderon.com and Instagram CandyCalderon_. And remember to go to glowwellnesstour.com for your tickets.
Yep, and you can find me at I am Yaya Rivera everywhere in the universe. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you for joining Ray's Latino Talk podcast. Peace.
Thank you, friends, for tuning in.
You.
This is the crazy part where we gotta zoom out.
Yes. That was so nice. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I know there's so many things that we didn't cover, but come on.
Thank you. That was amazing. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of
Think
here.
about.
Yeah, no.
Okay, let's take a photo together.
Yeah, well, we're not leaving. Let's just get out of here and then we can do all that stuff.